Go.
Exact same result. This is the second take we're doing that, and I literally hit the exact same part of the basket. For those watching on YouTube, welcome to Hypotheticals. My name's Jez. I'm the official voice of the Coburg Giants, a second division basketball team here in Australia. And I'm joined by my hot take machine friend, Tom Nixon. Tom, what's up, my friend?
Not a lot, mate. So happy you're the voice of the Coburg Giants and not their starting point guard, because those shots were both to the left and short. So tough L, mate.
That joke really killed the first time. The laughter wasn't brought the second time because unfortunately I already knew it was coming. But yes, speaking of that, it does remind me when on the last game of the season this year, there was the D1 men's team lost at Coburg. You know, sad time. They're walking off and I'm just shooting a basketball. I hit a mid-range jump shot. The point guard of the team goes, "Oh, that was pretty good. You should come to the tryouts this year."
Well,
I was like, it was hands down the best moment of my life.
I'm surprised you didn't look around and see if anyone just caught that and put it down to writing or something like that. But will you be blessing them in the tryouts, mate, next season? Surely.
Look, I might have to. For a bit of Hypotheticals journalism, I might have to head on down and do a bit of a live report back.
I'd love that. I'd love
great.
That. Yeah,
great.
I think the fans would too. Yeah.
All right, well, Tommy, we're one of the most segment-heavy podcasts on the internet, especially in the NBA landscape. So that means we're going to jump right into our first segment. It's time to find out who is going to make our first team all something in our segment, Shots Fired. All right, Tommy, it's time for Shots Fired. Now, this is a segment where we like to create a first team all something, but it's not a first team all defense or a first team all NBA. It's a more obscure thing. And this time with sort of, it seems like in the air, Ben Simmons NBA retirement imminent. We are going to be looking at first team all Ben Simmons most likely career moves after retiring from the NBA.
Yep.
So I'm going to let you kick us off here, Tom. Who have you got at our starting point guard here for what moves Ben Simmons is most likely to make after he retires from the NBA?
Yeah, this one he's had qualifications for, I think, for a very long period of time. And I think would just be a natural progression from his current role into a new one, and that is bricklayer. So I think he's going to be either a brickies labourer or a bricklayer. You know, he's going to be out there with the boys, mate, on Smoko and leave him alone. So he's going back to work, do the hard yards.
Beautiful. Well, that's perfect, mate. I thought sort of similar, something that he's very experienced in. I thought he's just got natural skills. He's going to have to head in. This is starting shooting guard.
Yep.
It's a video production house called Never Miss, the Ben Simmons off-season workout video production house. They'll edit 30 hours of footage into a 30-second clip where it makes you look like LeBron James.
I'd actually pay good money for that. That'd be fantastic. Just for my own personal services, mate.
That's the assist you'll want from Ben Simmons right there.
I've got at forward a school motivational speaker specializing in resilience in high-pressure scenarios. I'm inspired, obviously, by many of his playoff performances, and just his ability to bounce back from some of those has been nothing short of inspiring. So I think a traveling motivational speaker is where I had him.
That's the only traveling he'll be doing because he'll be retired from the NBA.
Yes.
All right, let's head over to another forward position here, and this is capitalizing on something that's pretty big in the sports media landscape. At power forward, we've got Bet Simmons. His chance to cash in on the wild multiverse colliding of sports and online gambling. You can't bet on free throws though. That's kind of the twist that he adds.
Yikes. So I've got it at center, and I think it's appropriate it's at center because this already occupies a central part of his life. And again, a natural progression from where he's at. Just influencer. I feel like Ben Simmons can go from doing nothing in the NBA to doing nothing on Instagram. And I just feel like he would be influencing the next generation of bricklayers. NBA players. So I think that he could go there.
I love it. And look, Tommy, I'm going to have to jump over to, I've got a few more here, and I just feel like we've just got to go through them because they're all obligatory here. Yeah, I've got some 6 men here. We've got Simmons says, it's meant to be a pun on Simon says there, the obligatory Washed Athlete podcast. Where 9 episodes in, he says he was better than Giannis and Jokic. That's
Would
coming
love
down the
that.
pipeline faster than a Ben Simmons
It-
free throw is going to miss.
Would the intro to that podcast be that clip of like Skip Bayless talking about how Ben Simmons is like LeBron can retire now? Was it him? And Ben Simmons is the new guy? Yeah, the new king. That he would just have. He's got that on retainer, surely. He's got the copyright
Absolutely.
claim to that, surely.
Another quick rapid fire here from me, Tommy. The blunder down under tries an NBL season where he takes it even less seriously than LaMelo. Aussies end up hating him even more.
Yep, I could see it.
I've got my final one, which to me feels like potentially the most possible here, which is what I call the rebound. This is sort of eighth man, and this is spends most of his time now building his case for Hall of Fame. Doesn't get there, ends up on a reality show called Shooting My Shot, where he mentors college athletes on the dangers of fame as an athlete. You're 90% sure he's doing it unironically, even though we're never actually sure how self-aware he really is.
I actually straight up believe that. I like jokes fully aside, can see that playing out. So.
All right. Well, Tommy, that's been our segment, Shots Fired, and we've made certainly a very solid case there to be Ben Simmons' professional management team after this season ends.
And I will just say, you know, we have very well documented our love for Australian basketballers, you know, even the conspiracy that they're not appreciated in the NBA. So this is by no means an attack on his nationality. And it's actually reflective of our love of Australian players because we hold them with such deep respect, reverence and love and feel like he's truly let down Aussie players. So, you know, better luck next time, Ben, I'd say.
Well, speaking of Ben Simmons, pretty hot topic on your sort of ESPN shows back in the day. And, you know, occasionally when they run out of stuff to talk about, he ends up on their show, like he is here on our show today. So let's really lean into that on our segment. For people that love First Take, you're going to love Worst Fake.
All right.
Alrighty, this is Worst Fake. This is exactly like First Take in that we bring really high intensity emotional opinions to basketball.
Yep.
But the only difference between us and First Take and what makes Worst Fake special is that we don't know the segments we're going to be arguing and we don't know which side we're going to be arguing for either. So, Tom, do you want to be the talking head first, or do you want me to be the talking head first?
I'm more than happy to go first, mate.
Alrighty.
I know that you've got a little bit of a googly for me, so I'm ready to go.
This is a good one because I think it's pretty easy to argue, but I think it'll break your heart to argue it here, Tommy. Okay.
Jeez, mate. I've got one that could be described in the exact same way. So if we picked the same one, then good luck to us.
Yeah. Okay. You're going to be arguing for this case.
Yeah.
And this case is that Ben Simmons is the greatest Australian basketball player of all time.
Oh my goodness. Far out. Here's the thing with Benny S, mate. He was part of the process. He actually allowed Embiid to get to the position that allowed him to be an MVP. He gave him the looks. He gave him the look. He didn't have many games, Embiid, to be MVP, and he didn't have much time in the. You know what I mean? So he actually gave him the ability to shoot the threes. He gave him the space to drive, space the floor. He was the floor general. I think that Ben Simmons has been unfairly hated upon for his whole career. He has had a dodgy back, multiple surgeries. Whenever he plays, he's pretty much sniffing a triple-double. Do you know what I mean? Like, the man's been averaging 8, 8, and 8, you know, for like 4 seasons now. So he's been unfairly maligned for medical reasons. And I think that, you know, if he didn't have some of these injuries, he could very well have been one of the best players. Everyone put their hopes on him. His first-round pick. He was really hot coming into the league. And he's the greatest what if in Australian basketball ever. You know, he's basically the D Rose of Australian basketball. Came out an absolute flamethrower. You know, he could drive, he could pass, rebound. His shot was developing in the off season, as discussed. And, you know, just a couple of really unfortunate injuries, and he's been the butt of every joke and podcast since. Whew, that was tough.
Wow. This, you know, it has to take a bit of water because that take was so fire. No, don't. I'm very impressed because not only did you go for a pro Ben Simmons take, but you went for a pro Joel Embiid take. A sight I never thought I'd see. But let me tell you, the thing that impressed me the most was the social media clip that people will probably have already seen by now if they're massive Hypotheticals fans. But you comparing Ben Simmons to Derrick Rose.
Prime D Rose, yeah. The greatest what if. All right, mate. Let's go to your
That's
worst
about to be
fate.
the most downvoted clip of all time.
And quite
all right,
rightly,
hit me
I'd
up.
say.
All right, I'm feeling it.
This one's going to hurt you, mate, because,
All right,
I'm going to ask you to wade into the debates that have been raging around for many a season now, and you're going to have to argue in favor that with Golden State not making any moves yet in the off season and still having a little bit of cap potential, if they can make the right moves in the right time, the best career move for Giannis is for him to go to Golden State and steal one with a still very serviceable Steph Curry and a scary Jimmy Butler. And I think you need to discuss why Golden State is Giannis's destination. Maybe not before the trade deadline, but maybe in the off season, if and when Milwaukee has a shoddy first round exit again. So hit me with that, mate.
Okay. All right. This is a really simple one. Let me break it down really easily for you. All right. You wanted a bit of spice with a bit of Giannis. Let me give you a little bit of curry. There we go. Look, Giannis is. I have to be honest. I was playing NBA 2K the other day, a game that has more bugs than a bed in a $2 a night hotel. Okay, I think I landed the plane there, sort of.
Okay, got there. Yep.
But it is a glitchy game, and I would love to get deeper into that at a different time. But one thing you notice when you click on the Milwaukee Bucks as a team, not a lot of strong people on the team anymore. We don't have that second player that's in the 90s or 89 like Damian Lillard. You're kind of looking at an 87 Miles Teller, and you're looking at a 75 overall KPJ. Look, it's a different team than Giannis had last year. It's a bit younger, but he's going to need people to be around him that know what to do, that aren't going to make mistakes. He needs reliable vets. He needs strong people to help spread the floor around him, and he just needs to go to work. He's the engine. He can give them time off. What he needs is defensive-minded people in Jimmy and Draymond. We know he plays well with defensive-minded people like Drew. And then you just throw in a bit of Steph Curry. Mate, it is Championship 2027, Warriors with Giannis Finals MVP. Lock it in.
Mate, that is an absolute rock-solid, airtight, watertight defense of why Giannis is going to be going to Golden State and winning the chip in 27. And I tell you what, Miles Turner, name so good, we forgot about it. So good luck, mate. I hope you have a good season, Miles Teller.
That name's really giving me some whiplash, mate. Miles Teller, he's got a successful acting career out there, and look, I hope he does join the team.
It sounds like his brother, you know what I mean? Like just stepping in for a game because he's sick like his twin or something like that. The Thanasis Giannis, not quite, almost. But look, man, I don't know what Giannis is going to do. We still think he's going to stay. This is a Bucks podcast after all, but you know what? I'm scared if he goes elsewhere.
Look, we'll save that for the Bucks chat. We'll get to that shortly, all right? Because we know we can get carried away by Bucks chat. But let's go to a segment that's really important because it's very relevant to what's been happening. This is what this segment was, in reality, kind of built for.
Yeah.
It's time to jump into an NBA conspiracy. Let's jump into our segment, Redacted.
Yep.
All righty, this is Redacted. This is where we look at NBA conspiracies. We've looked at popular ones like the Luka one. And, of course, this one is the Kawhi conspiracy where... Look, actually, before we actually get into this, let's offer an apology. Did you see Malik Beasley cleared of all charges?
Indeed. It's actually kind of, it's criminal because that man's whole career has pretty much been ruined and he's been cleared of charges. So it's actually really sad. Like on a serious, somber note, it's actually devastating that a man like Malik Beasley, who will never, like he was on a contract year. Do you know what I mean? And he was due a pretty decent payout, 6th man of the year candidate. No one's going to sniff him now. And not to get too early into the conspiracy here, but Kawhi, obviously a complete flipped situation, fully complicit, made millions of dollars illegally and won't have the same, stench around him like Malik Beasley. So yeah, we offer our actual apologies to Malik and good luck, mate. We might have to do a first team Malik. Where's he landing? Because it's not looking like the NBA, mate.
Well, I hope he ends up on the Bucks, honestly, because he actually was a good player for us. So
I actually wouldn't even
fingers
hate
crossed.
that.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. Let's jump into the Clippers situation. So I'm going to assume people know what's going on, but let me just do a very 30 seconds edition, which is that Kawhi Leonard was working for this tree planting sort of charity shell organization. And by working, I mean he signed a contract where he didn't have to do anything, and he got $28 million. And the only stipulation was that he had to be on the LA Clippers for this to happen. He had no obligations other than that, and this looks very sus. And so there was a series of events where they were paid $50 million, then Kawhi was paid $28 million. Then they were low on funds. They got an injection of $1.9 million, and Kawhi got $1.7 million. Allegedly, I should say, after that Malik Beasley thing. So,
Yep.
Anyway, this is the situation. Tom, did you have any thoughts on this?
It's been a tough week for Adam Silver, and we haven't tried to make this a conspiracy podcast, but I'm feeling so vindicated right now. Just as a quick note, I find it funny that they cheated, tried to buy a ring, and it still didn't work, which is the most Clippers thing ever.
I had the line, "This is the most Clippers thing ever," written in my notes because
literally the most Clippers thing ever.
It couldn't be more Clippers. Signing a big name, them being mostly injured, and when it turns out that they aren't injured, it turns out that you're paying them under the table to lose in the second round.
Also being the poster boy for load management, where they've actually had to bring in additional NBA legislation to deal with that, player legislation. Oh, look, mate, honestly, the only thing that I've been thinking about for the last week is, like, how much of this has gone... Like, how much is this the worst kept secret of the NBA, and every other team in the league is doing it, but for whatever reason, the Clippers are getting shafted, and they're the scapegoat to try and clean this up. I cannot, this is full speculation just for legal purposes. Do not tell me that other big market teams, Golden State, Lakers, Celtics, aren't doing the exact same thing, kind of trying to basically tax evade, or like apron evade, something like that, to attract names or to get... I don't know if you remember the Bucks... Like, this is a bit of a deep cut on the Bucks history. Do you remember when the Bucks tried to get Bogdanovich, Bogey, the shooter that went to the Hawks? Remember we tried to trade for him and we got done for tampering?
Obscure Milwaukee Bucks.
That's actually tight. But do you remember that? Like, it was the most low effort, and they raked us over the coals for it. I don't know how, like, small market teams I don't think are doing this as much. I think they're getting a $50 FPOS card and giving those out to players. But yeah, I'm just... Adam Silver, between that, and again, not to derail this completely, but between that and the whole we're a highlights league, so good luck if you want to watch a whole game, Adam Silver's not had a great PR week.
He doesn't have the silver tongue. Anyway.
Sizzling.
No, I was going to say, it's actually even more Clippers than we let on. So let me explain the maximum. This is the most maximum Clipper event that I think is ever going to happen. It's like a solar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse, if you will.
Yeah,
exactly. So let's break it down. So they never won anything. Steve Ballmer had to pay an extra $28 million, allegedly, to Kawhi and family.
Yeah.
They've just built a new stadium, so they're looking to bring people in.
Yep. They're
probably going to lose all their draft picks if found guilty.
Yep.
And Kawhi, not really known for his loyalty, probably going to bounce as well.
100%.
So this is like not only a massive disaster from the fact that they never won anything. It probably would have been a bigger disaster if they did win something, to be honest, because this reporting would be like nuts if they had won the championship last year.
Yeah.
But because they haven't won anything, it's actually just funny.
It really is. And it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you remember, David Stern had like I don't know what year it was. It was maybe a decade or two ago now, but there was that big issue with like NBA refs and betting, and there was kind of corrupt, and we joke about in the NBA, like the stars get the calls, but obviously there was that big thing that blew up a couple of decades ago. And this feels like that kind of watershed moment. Like, how is the commissioner, how's Adam Silver going to turn around and be outraged enough to do something about it without basically getting all the teams off site? Because I don't want to flog a dead horse here, but don't tell me the Clippers are the only ones who've done this. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what's happened behind the scenes, or maybe that was sloppy. But yeah, I don't know how he's going to deal with this. I also don't know how, because like the fans are begging for like, what's the process look like? There's a report's going to have to come out. Is there punishment? Is there a fine? Like you said, you're going to lose draft picks.
Alrighty. Well, Tom, just off that, you've made me kind of a bit suspicious. I'm actually just thinking of this right now. But if we're thinking about how this worked, which was like paying a shell company, and again, I'm not alleging anything because I
No.
like all the people involved here. This is a Bucks one though. You did say that Gruber Law Offices is an official sponsor of Thanasis. I don't want to say anything. I'm just going to put it there. I'm just going to say that.
Have some good legal counsel. That's all we're
we
saying.
love Gruber Law Offices here.
Yes,
we love them. We
do.
love Thanasis. Look, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying it's great that they're mutual sponsors of both the Bucks and Thanasis, and I'll leave it there.
And it's always good to have strong legal counsel.
Absolutely. And one call. That's all. From what I understand.
From what I understand. Let's move on.
Let's not think about that too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to now, Tom. Let's go to Bucks chat. Now, this is you and I are both Milwaukee Bucks fans.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say that in the past, like intro to Bucks chat's probably too long, maybe not really related to the Milwaukee Bucks per se. And luckily for us, Tommy, we have been gifted with an amazing sponsorship of K. All right. And I thought, we could probably both use that. K each, that's probably really exciting. But I thought, what's the first rule of economics, Tom?
Spend less than you make.
No.
Okay.
Got to spend money to make money.
All right. Okay.
So I went to an animation company. I said, okay, let's get something really happening for Bucks chat.
I have not seen this. So you spent 10 big ones of our combined money. They
said, do you want this in 4K? That'll be extra. I said, let's make it 9K. And they were like, we don't even have the technology for that. I said, design it. So we've gone from paying 10K to being 10K in the hole, but I think you'll agree, Tommy, it's worth it. So everybody, it's time for, like I said, this is our new one, much easier, simpler. This is our new segment, Bucks Chat.
Whoa. Hey! I am speechless. You're going to put Christopher Nolan out of a job, mate. That was special. Special.
And for the people listening on audio, highly recommend going over to the video there. So anyway, like I said, I wanted to make it shorter and more to the point, and I think I've kind of done neither of those.
Yeah. It was both longer and more obscure, but hey, let's go.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if that's going to be the official one either. We might have to get a new one, so might need another 10K.
All right. Group of law officers, on an unrelated note, I may need some legal counsel. So.
All right. Well, let's jump into our Bucks chat. Tom, did you have anything that you wanted to talk about here?
Just wanted to mention, obviously, Giannis's incredible performance in the EuroLeague, nabbing that third place. I don't know if you saw, but he actually said that it was his greatest accomplishment, and he had tears of joy. So bless him. And mate, I tell you what, I don't know if you watched the highlights, Giannis highlights. Mans was cooking. Like, you think Ben Simmons has got a crazy, like, off-season package? Giannis's off-season package is just him playing in the EuroLeague and absolutely destroying innocent, like, continental basketball players.
You've got a 45-year-old Mario Hezonja out there trying to guard him. He's just playing for his country for a bit of fun as a last go-round, and he's getting steamrolled by Giannis at full speed.
Literally just getting shoulder-checked in transition. If that's not elder abuse, I don't know what is. But no, mate, I wanted to discuss a couple of things. Obviously, Thanasis is back. Welcome back, Thanasis. I actually think this could be a huge turning point for the Bucks. We're very high on Thanasis in this Bucks podcast, and I think that he'll just keep Giannis cool, and honestly, like, just bring the vibes back on the bench mob. And if I'm not seeing a Thanasis like dunk maybe once every 10 games, like, You know what? On the day I eventually go and see Giannis play, if I serve for him, I want to see a Thanasis sighting. Like I would love to see Thanasis in garbage time. So yeah, just excited for that, mate. I've got a few other things, but I'll throw back to you, mate. Bucks chat.
Well, let's stay there for a second because we've got Thanasis back vibes are back, which is great. Only problem is, I don't know. We've been talking about this on the little chat, little you and me hypotheticals chat. There's some talk that it may have to be an Ajax for Thanasis sign. There can only be one with roster spots limited. There can only be one. So, is this the biggest decision in Milwaukee Bucks bench history? Thanasis versus Ajax.
Is this the biggest decision in Milwaukee Bucks third stringer history? Look, I'm happy to take the hard call on this one and press the big red button. Ajax, you got to go back to the herd, mate. We've said it before, we'll say it again, but that dunk contest just broke his spirit, and he hasn't come back since. I'm taking a Thanasis dunk every time over an Ajax dunk. I'll put it this way. I've never seen Ajax do the Sham God, but I've seen Thanasis do it. I'm happy to make the space.
You see, here's the thing. When I think about Thanasis and I think about Ajax, I really see two of the same person.
Right.
In many ways. Neither offensively super gifted. I think Ajax probably defensively slightly more gifted than Thanasis. So for me, it's a bit of a muchness. So if that's the case, then you've got to kind of go for Thanasis vibes alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've just seen more Thanasis highlights. As simple as that. And as we said earlier, apparently, according to our commissioner, the NBA is just a highlight league. So I haven't seen Ajax's off-season package, but I've seen some of Thanasis's. And I've seen some Thanasis to back it up.
Yeah.
So
can I dish you a really quick snack of a Bucks chat?
Yeah, a hypothetical, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. A hypothetical. Did you see Malcolm Brogdon still a free agent?
I also saw that he was tearing it up in the Euroleague.
Just saying. Could be time to bring Malcolm from coming off the bench to bring him Brogdon the team. That didn't really land, I think.
Malcolm back to the Bucks.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, actually, now I think about it, I think it was him in the EuroLeague. I'm thinking of someone else. But I definitely saw an article that he's a free agent. And look, I mean, again, the over and under of games played per year, he's probably worse than Tingus Pingus on that one. But look, I'd still take him, again, for vibes, if nothing else. And look, he can still be a good floor general for off the bench. You know, it'd be an absolute dream to see Thanasis just dunk off the lob from Brogdon, pick and roll. That'd be beautiful.
It'd be like being back in 2018 again.
The only reason this is not an obscure Milwaukee Buck reference is because there is a sliver of a chance that he gets signed. So you only got away with that just.
That's it. If KPJ starts out rough, expect to see a little bit of Malcolm coming brogged off the bench. It still didn't work again. I don't know why I went back.
It's 2 for 2. Mate, I think you should try and shoot. Give us a shot in that basket again, because you got a better chance of that.
I only have one ball, mate, so it's done.
Just wanted to note, obviously, Khris returning to Milwaukee at the start of the season.
Oh, yes.
With the Wizards, yes.
First game of the season is Wizards Bucks at Fiserv, for people that don't know, and it's Chris's first game back.
We're that locked in to the season, obviously. And I'll just Milwaukee Bucks supporters and fanatics will remember how the last season started. I think we were like 2-8 in the first 10 games. Wasn't a great start to the season. We're starting with a game against the Wizards at home. Surely that's a dub. I'm just saying, surely it's a dub.
Do you think Khris Middleton, 25 points, are you going above or below that, do you reckon?
Nah, he won't get 25 points, mate. I doubt he'll play 25 minutes.
First game back at Fiserv, I don't know, mate. I think this could be like a 30. I think it could be like 33 points, Khris Middleton.
30 piece. All right, yeah. Let's come back to this at our first episode of the season, and we'll see who got the over and under on that.
Well, let's head over to our most probably unique segment for people that haven't heard hypotheticals before. This is where we bring a little bit of rhyming to basketball. So it's not time to call a timeout. It's time to call a rhyme out. Alrighty, welcome to Rhyme Out. This is the segment where we bring this is the open mic night here at Hypotheticals. We like to bring a little bit of a sort of softer side to basketball and maybe a little bit more of an artistic side. Through poetry, we start to look at some elements of basketball. I'm here to say I don't think there's a single other podcast doing this. I think it's on
Yep.
the record.
We're completely unique in this, mate. We 100% have the corner in NBA-related creativity and poetry specifically. So that needs to be monetized somehow because apparently we're 10K in the hole.
Any money that people want to send us, please do.
Yeah.
Look, I think, Tommy, it sounds like you've got the longer, grander poem. So I think you should start us off today here because I think we need you to grip everybody. And then if people still have any attention span left, they can listen to mine. So
you'll be glad to know that this is not a Bucks-related rhyme out for long-term listeners of the podcast. They'll know that most of the time, record scratch. You're probably wondering how I ended up here.
Tell us how you did end up here. This is probably this is the biggest scoop pathetical we've had.
Yeah. It's just I was really touched after our last episode on Australian players and the state of disrespect that we find ourselves in. So this one goes out to Josh Giddey. Now, look, I've had to do a little revision at the end, just with a couple of announcements that have come out the last few days. I've also, you'll be not unhappy to hear, I have shoehorned in, obviously, a Bucks angle. So, but without further ado, rhyme out Josh Giddey edition. It's been going on for months. It's gotten silly. Of course, I'm talking about a one Josh Giddey. 14, 8, and 7 for last season. The Bulls are being cheap, and it ain't appeasing. Of course, we know why. He's an Aussie after all. Criminally undervalued. My tinfoil hat is tall. If he doesn't sign, I'm happy to wait a year. We have room for you at Fiserv. Be the newest league-feared deer.
Ooh.
But alas, it was not to be. Giddey is still a Bull. This next season, will he be the key? Probably not. Probably, I mean, I love him, but I'm getting strong play-in exit energy from the Bulls once again.
They should actually get a banner. If they get 10 play-in exits in a row, they should get a banner for most play-in consecutive exits.
I think Michael Jordan would personally burn down the stadium should that happen.
They should get an award called the play out. Like there's the playoffs, there's the play in, they're the play out.
I think that should be our next segment. I don't know what we're going to do with it, but you can probably see that the first 3/4 of that was written before he re-signed with the Bulls. And I had to shoehorn in, obviously, a couple of lines at the end there. But
I think there was a sort of powerful new way of looking at conspiracies with having a tall alfoil hat, which I've never heard of before, but I like that you're kind of injecting a new element of creativity into what an alfoil hat even can be.
You know, with the volume of conspiracies that surround the NBA and life in general, really, we can't be too protected. You know, we live in unprecedented times, mate. So,
absolutely.
We need to just stay alert to what's happening out there. But
absolutely.
Anyway, without further ado, I welcome one Jez FM to the mic.
Well, thank you. Mine's a bit shorter than Tom's. Tom's really giving you the full scope here. But I think mine, Eurobasket's on. We've obviously had Josh Giddey. But there's something that I just can't get off my mind, Tom.
Yeah.
And I think you'll understand as you listen to this. You'll be like, oh, yeah, I see. So probably the biggest story in hypotheticals right now. And here's my rhyme. Now I see, like, allegedly, Michael Beasley. Is that his name? Malik Beasley. Let's start again.
Is that his brother? Malik Michael Beasley.
Michael B. Beasley. We've got Miles Teller. We've got the starting five of who are these guys?
We swear we know NBA around here. First team, so close yet so far, man.
All right, great. Okay. All right, great. Here we go.
Can we have Sean Curry?
We've got that other Jonas brother. We've got people that aren't even affiliated with the NBA. All right, here we go. All right. Now I see, like allegedly Malik Beasley, how losing 10K can be done so easily. Feel like I fumbled the cash like a Giannis free throw. Looking at my bank account has me saying, oh no. Thought it would be a fun way to open up a chat about Milwaukee. Now I feel the heat because now I owe 10K.
Oh.
So my decisions are bad and my deals stank. Gonna really need my own agent Cody Bank.
Okay. Oh man, I should have done Agent Cody Bank for you.
So anyway, there we go. That's my rhyme. Big thoughts in the hypotheticals world right there. Tried to think about basketball and tried to shoehorn it in, but again, back to the ever-growing debt.
We spare no expense around here, mate,
Mm-hmm.
and our listeners will appreciate that. I would just say for anyone who's not watching on YouTube, please check out the video. There were some very well-timed looks to the camera. Fourth wall was indeed broken and successfully, so that has not been repaired ever since.
Well, speaking of Agent Cody Bank, I think it's time to just jump into our final, most famous segment on every single episode. I think it's even been on our special, emergency episodes, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was on the Luka Doncic emergency. Yeah. I wonder if it was on the Drew Holiday. Do you remember that? That was an emergency podcast. Did we do a Cody Bank on that?
Look, if you're listening right now, go check them out. Go check out every single episode of Hypotheticals and come back to us and see if we've mentioned it, if we've done it in every episode.
Yeah, fact check us.
That's it. But it's time to enter Agent Cody Bank, and we've got a bit of a twist this week. So let's check in with our agent. Call him up, Agent Cody Bank.
That's got a real jazz twist to that music as well, now that I hear it.
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so this is Agent Cody Bank. Tom, this is a segment where we get 45 seconds to act as the agent for NBA player or someone affiliated with the NBA world. But the only problem is we don't know who we're going to be representing till the second the person says it. So we're going to have to dive right in here as our agent, and our job is to get them the bag. And now you did say, Tom, before that there was a movie that came out in the early 2000s called Agent Cody Banks. Now, that is not this segment.
No.
That is something totally different. That
for
is
legal
a movie
reasons.
for legal reasons.
Completely unrelated.
We are saying, Agent Cody, get them the bag.
Yes.
The bank.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of those things.
Money. We need it. 10K.
So I thought this week, to make the experience a little more fun for our video watchers, I've actually got a video of an uninterested GM listening to you while you talk about this agent. So you're going to have the timer on the screen, Tommy, and you're going to be talking to this GM, okay?
All right. I'm so locked in, baby.
All right. Are you ready for this one? Now, do you want to go first? I think you got to go first because you've got to be surprised by this segment. So I want to get the full surprise, and we've just got to go this way.
I haven't realized until right at this second how much of this podcast we just throw things at each other for pure unadulterated reactions. But I'm ready to cook. So who's getting the bag today? Who's getting that bank?
Tommy, do I even need to say their name?
Probably not.
All right, Tommy, you've walked into the office. It's time to chat to the GM. You know who it's for. It's, of course, our man, Simmons says.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
I've been saying from the start that this man, he's been injured, but he's had the season off. He's had surgery. He's been recovering. Like I said, triple single digits for like four seasons now. He is actually the glue that you need for your team, especially for the bench mob. Couple of assists, couple of dunks. He's kind of like Thanasis, but better, dare I say it. And I think that we need to start really considering the role of Ben Simmons in the league. I think he would actually go really well with a huge contract because it would just give him the confidence to lead, the confidence to drive, and to instill that in the rest of the team. So I can't see any reason why he doesn't deserve an absolute off-season bag.
Well done, mate. Look, it's been a Ben Simmons heavy episode for you, but I think you've carried it through well. And I really wanted this to be essentially Ben Simmons' swan song episode. I think in hypotheticals, is he going to get mentions in the future? No doubt about it. But this really is his last, it seems like, episode with the NBA. He's probably got a 10-day contract at some point later this season, but really it's a bit done and dusted here.
Jez, I'm so happy you said that because the person that I've got for your Agent Cody Bank is actually well and truly related to Mr. Simmons and his swan song. So I think it's more than fitting that, I don't know if you've seen the news, but Ben Simmons' agent actually dropped him the other day, which means the Ben Simmons agent is out of a job. So I think you need to get the bag for a man who's used to getting people the bag, if you know what I mean. So 45 seconds, please, on the clock for Ben Simmons' agent. Why does that man deserve the bag? Please go when you're ready.
Alrighty. Well, I mean, the thing about Ben Simmons' agent is that there's one thing you can be sure of, is that this man is going to ride that ship till it sinks. And the ship's officially sunk, and that's okay. They're on the lifeboat now. But if you want someone who is loyal, someone who is going to be standing up for someone, even when they're not showing up to practice, they're wearing long jumpers, and it's like, aren't they supposed to be playing today? I thought they were registered as on. No, you are going to be getting someone who every single offseason, without fail, gave you an and one mixtape from one Ben Simmons. All right, only for him to show up in the season and have a field goal percentage of about 21%. Okay, so what? Ben Simmons' agent, he's a free agent. Make him your agent. Ben Simmons. Like Ben Simmons, let him give you that assist. Ben Simmons' agent, page him.
He deserves to get like Shea as his next contract. You know what I mean? Like or Wemby, like the most valuable first draft in fantasy across the board.
Mm-hmm.
That poor man has been in the trenches like no one else. So this has been quite the swan song for Ben Simmons. And I'm glad that we were able to send him off. And I tell you what, if and when he signs, you know that your boys are going to be on the case. We may have to do an emergency podcast. We'll see. But if he gets signed, we'll be reporting on it. Definitely.
Now, Tom, that brings us pretty much to the end of the episode. But I have just remembered something that I forgot to mention about the Clippers, which I think we've got to go back to the Clippers.
Okay.
It's something hilarious is they're already such an old team, and now they might lose all their draft picks. They're just going to stay this old team. But anyway, did you have any final thoughts on before we head off today?
No, just that, people have been clowning the Bucks for being old, but no longer. They are by no means the oldest team, but no, just very excited at our new frequency and cadence in the podcast, and it's just been a joy, a privilege, and an honor, mate.
Yeah. Well, as always, mate, Finn.
Thin.